I came home later than usual that Friday evening. The office had drained me, but I had no idea that the real exhaustion would come from what awaited me at home. As I opened the front door, I noticed Emily standing in the hallway, arms crossed, her face tense but determined. "Mark," she said, her voice careful, almost rehearsed. "We need to talk." I felt a knot form in my stomach. Emily, my wife of 7 years, never began conversations this way unless something serious had happened. I set my briefcase down slowly, trying to maintain a calm exterior. "Okay," I said. "Sit down." She followed me to the dining room, where I could already sense the storm forming. I need to confess something," Emily started, taking a deep breath. Her words were measured, but her hands trembled slightly. "I've made a mistake. I've been seeing someone else." For a moment I froze. I wanted to interrupt, to yell, to throw accusations, but I didn't. I let her continue, watching her struggle to justify her actions with clumsy sentences and half-hearted attempts at remorse. She spoke about loneliness, stress, and how she convinced herself that nothing would change between us. But I knew better. "Emily," I finally said, my voice low but steady, "you're telling me all this because you think I'll forgive you?" Her eyes widened, and for a second, she seemed genuinely confused. I thought that if I confessed, maybe you'd understand. Maybe you'd forgive me," she murmured, almost pleading. I leaned back in my chair, carefully considering my next words. "Forgiveness isn't given that easily," I said. "Especially when trust has been shattered so completely. And make no mistake, Emily, you've broken it." She swallowed hard, a slight quiver in her lip betraying the confidence she had tried to maintain. I didn't want to hurt you," she whispered. I studied her for a moment, then shook my head. "Hurt me? You've done more than hurt me. You've humiliated me. And just so you know, I don't plan on letting you walk away from this without consequences." She opened her mouth, probably expecting another apology, another plea for mercy, but I didn't give her that satisfaction. Instead, I stood, walked to the kitchen drawer and pulled out my phone. "I'm going to make sure the truth of this, every single detail, lands exactly where it should," I said, my voice cold and deliberate. Her hands trembled now, the air thick with tension. "Mark, please." I cut her off. "No. You've had your turn to speak. Now it's my turn to act." Saturday morning, I woke up early, my mind already racing with plans. I couldn't let anger dictate my actions, but neither could I let Emily's betrayal go unchecked. While she slept in the bedroom, I moved silently to the study. I opened my laptop and started compiling everything I knew. Texts, emails, photos, and moments she had thought I hadn't noticed. I remembered a message she had sent just last week, casual but loaded. "Can't wait to see him tonight. Don't worry, it's nothing serious." The audacity of it still burned me. She assumed I would remain oblivious, that I would quietly accept her deception. She had no idea how meticulous I could be when pushed. By mid-morning, I had set up 3 separate folders on my cloud drive, each labeled clearly, Evidence A, Evidence B, and Evidence C. I wasn't just collecting proof. I was creating a map, a timeline of lies, meetings, and excuses that Emily had spun. Every smile, every false reassurance, every denial she had ever given now fit neatly into this timeline. When she finally appeared for breakfast, she tried to act casual, brushing her hair back and forcing a small smile. "Morning, Mark," she said, the tone slightly too cheerful, as if pretending could undo what she had done. I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I poured myself a cup of coffee and sat down across from her, letting silence fill the room. The tension was palpable. Emily shifted uncomfortably in her seat, glancing at the clock, then back at me, unsure if I was about to explode. "I want you to understand something," I said finally, my voice calm but laced with authority. "You've made choices that have consequences, and I intend to make sure you face them." Her eyes widened, a flicker of panic flashing through them. "Mark, you don't mean—" "I do," I interrupted. "But this isn't about rage or revenge. This is about accountability. You want to confess and hope for forgiveness? Fine. But first, you'll see exactly how serious this is." I handed her my laptop, open to the timeline folder. Emily gasped softly as she scrolled through the meticulously documented evidence. Each message, each meeting, each casual lie was laid bare. Her face paled, lips parting in disbelief. "Mark, I didn't think you knew," she stammered. "I knew enough," I said, leaning back, my expression unreadable. "But now you get to see everything. And after this, you will understand that honesty isn't just about words, it's about consequences." Her hands shook as she hovered over the trackpad. She realized, perhaps for the first time, that her confession hadn't gained her sympathy. It had placed her in a position of complete vulnerability. Emily sat frozen, scrolling through the folders, her eyes widening with each new revelation. She hadn't anticipated this level of scrutiny. Every message she had sent, every plan she had made, was now visible, undeniable. The smug confidence she had worn yesterday had vanished entirely, replaced with a mixture of fear and regret. I thought if I told you you'd forgive me," she whispered, barely audible. I shook my head slowly. "Forgiveness isn't a given, Emily. You thought honesty alone could erase months of deceit. That's naive. You don't get to decide the terms of forgiveness after betraying someone so completely." Her shoulders slumped, tears threatening to spill. She opened her mouth again, trying to justify herself. I just needed to. It wasn't about you." I cut her off, letting my voice remain steady, controlled. "It was always about you, wasn't it? Your needs, your desires, your excitement. What about me? What about everything we built together? You treated it all like it didn't matter." For the first time, I saw fear. Not the casual fear of getting caught in a small lie, but the kind that comes from realizing your entire world of deceit is collapsing. She was beginning to understand that her confession had not earned her mercy. It had only magnified the consequences. I closed my laptop and stood. "You wanted me to see your honesty? You wanted forgiveness? Fine. But there's no simple apology that can fix this. You're going to feel the weight of what you've done." Emily flinched as I approached, but I didn't touch her. Instead, I reached for my phone and began composing messages. Not angry messages, not threats, but ones that would carefully reveal her betrayal to a controlled circle. Close friends, a few mutual acquaintances, and her workplace supervisor. She gasped softly when she realized what I was doing, her hands flying to her mouth. "Mark, no, please." I didn't respond. Silence spoke louder than any words. By the time I finished, Emily was trembling, unable to meet my eyes. She had expected confrontation, maybe tears, maybe a fight, but this methodical exposure, the controlled humiliation, left her powerless. "Consider this your lesson," I said, finally breaking the silence. "Trust isn't something you can manipulate. Actions have consequences, Emily, and you'll remember that for the rest of your life." She sank into the chair, exhausted, broken, and finally understanding the depth of what she had done. And for the first time, I felt a strange sense of clarity. The betrayal had not destroyed me, it had strengthened me. I hadn't just punished her. I had reclaimed control of my life, my dignity, and my future.